In this episode of Ask a Griffin, we cover the 4 keys to staging your property. So the first critical point is to recognize, first of all, why is staging really important at all? Why would I even waste my time doing it? Well, it's not a waste of time at all, because what you're trying to recognize first is that the buyers actually have very limited vision. This is not something that you should leave to the buyer to come in and figure out the space. You're actually missing a massive opportunity to get the place or the space staged so that somebody begins to see really how it could lay out. So again, the buyer has very limited vision. Don't leave it to them. That's why staging matters. And that leads to the next critical point. Well, how? How do I do that? I don't even know what that means. Well, the basic principle of staging is to consider, is the space or are the spaces throughout the house open? Do they open up? And do they, more importantly, flow? That's the key concept here. You see, you might have a very large room that could feel cavernous and you could get lost and, oh my gosh, I have to go out and buy all this new furniture. Well, not necessarily so. If it's staged correctly, you could even bring furniture in to make a big space feel more cozy. Or if it's really, really small, to minimize, use less furniture, use less end tables and whatever other attributes you'd bring into the room to make it have that feeling. But the key concept is, as the tour is going on, see, as a real estate professional, we know what it feels like when somebody's going through. If they're bumping into furniture and it's not flowing, boy, you have to start to explain what's possible. And now, between those first 2 points, limited vision and trying to explain to them, how could they even focus on the property? So you see, it's become very important to consider staging what you have. And that leads you to point number 3. You see, what staging is actually doing is it's demonstrating to the buyer what's possible. What's possible? See, if you shut it down to the extent that people are moving around and bumping into each other, all of a sudden they don't have the opportunity to step back, scan a space, and consider what's possible. Now, if they don't like your red couch and they have a blue one, now they see, oh, no problem, that looks about the same size as mine. I'll just slide the red one out and slide the blue one in, and won't it be perfect right there? Oh, my dining room table would fit perfectly over where they have that kitchen table. I don't like their round table, but I like my rectangular. You see, now they're beginning to see what's possible because they're able to walk into that space and consider their stuff in place of your stuff. And that leads to, can you do this yourself? I know all you DIYers out there, you do-it-yourselfers, are jonesing to do all of this on your own and you're scouring the internet, but we would always consider that no matter what you do, you at least consider hiring a professional stager. You see, we've said this many times to our property sellers. It's easy enough for a real estate professional to come in, especially one that's very experienced, and make suggestions on how to open up spaces and flow, how to minimize all those personal items that you have so that you're starting to cleanse the palate for the buyer to see what's possible for them. However, this is a real art form. My brother John and I, we did an 8-episode TV show with A&E, and the whole premise was transformation of space. And I'm telling you right now, that wasn't our specialty. We brought in some stagers that were absolutely amazing at what they did. They could walk into a space and see something that nobody could because it's an art form. Oftentimes, you even look at a magazine or you take a staging course online, you still don't have that artistic flair that a real natural professional stager has. We're not saying that you have to do this, but always, anytime there's something so critical that really brings up the value of your property. And again, in this series, we're still talking about why staging is important. Once we've considered price range and we've done all the reconditioning, now we have to set that space. So consider hiring a professional, even if they don't bring things like pieces of furniture in, which might be more expensive, at least they can tell you how to do the right thing with what you have. So again, let's summarize this. Why are we even talking about staging? Because it is something that absolutely can change the perception of value as the buyer is viewing your property. So in summary, recognize that that buyer has a limited vision. Do not assume that they should just be able to see how the space should be set. Next, the whole principle of staging is to maximize and open up spaces, but most importantly, make sure whatever size property it is, it flows nicely. So during the tour, somebody can relax instead of stumbling over your stuff. The next one is staging simply demonstrates what's possible. It's very difficult to have a space staged perfectly for somebody else's taste. That's extremely subjective. But what it's doing is showing them, hey, I could do something with that space that I like now that I see the layout. And lastly, please consider at least consulting with a professional stager who has that artistic flair to see a space and create the story. They are amazing at what they do. Hey, if you like this, do us a favor. Would you share this episode along? Subscribe to us, listen to us, wherever you could help us spread this message. We'd appreciate it. We'll see you the next time on the next episode. Thanks for being here and tuning in.